going on, guys? My name is Brandon. Welcome to Audio Addiction, where you can find latest album reviews. You can find our band interviews, and you can find live coverage of the concert that we get. We're ending out the festival of album reviews out with my good friends in Fox Vibes, as well as check out our older ones that we did over this week. Silverstein. We also did Gospel Youth. We also did Day Seekers, and then lastly, Picturesque new record as well. I know there's a few more albums, so I hope to get to those maybe over this weekend if I can. There was another one that I was looking at in particular that maybe I'll do, maybe next week at some point or something like that. So if you enjoy what we do, make sure to subscribe, make sure to hit that like button. We're almost at 500 subscribers, so if you could subscribe, that'd be greatly appreciated. Also, make sure to hit that bell so you're notified on when anything audio addiction related comes out. It helps you get in the know and things of that nature. So without further ado, tonight we're going to be talking about Fox Vibes' new record, Mantra. So I was approached by Anthony to do this record. He's the guitarist and pretty much everything else for Fox Vibes. The only thing that he got done that he couldn't was drums, I believe. So he's pretty much done everything else instrumentally on this album. But I got this email from him. I figured that I would do this record. I'm always like really hesitant on what I get with emails, especially if I don't know them or things of that nature. But I checked out the music. I really enjoyed it, so I feel like people that subscribe to this channel would hopefully be open-minded and check this one out as well. I feel like it's not too far out of the wheelhouse for me, particularly. And I also feel like for those who listen to, my reviews and stuff like that, I feel like it's not too far from the bands that I do interview as well. So he's kind of like a progressive rock, post-hardcore, maybe a little bit of metalcore influence in there as well. Kind of culmination of music. Bands that he likes are like Fall of Troy, Dance Gavin Dance, Chon, Save Us from the Archon. So, very instrumentally guitar based, and I feel like you'll get that in spades in this album. So I'm going to go through each track, give you my thoughts and opinions on it. Then I'm going to give some pros and cons, and then I'm going to give an overall rating. So the first track is called Hawaiian Snow. I'm really liking the names, honestly, Anthony. They're really sick. I think they're just, very reminiscent of just like older sort of just obscure names. But I really enjoy that. But getting back to the track, really enjoy the grittiness of this guitars in this track. Very reminiscent to me of like old DGD records. The drumming is super impressive, not only in this track, but in a lot of the other tracks throughout this record. Whoever he got for drumming was monstrous. He was insane. With just some of the fills and just the technicality of his drumming. Really liking the inclusion of electronic instruments throughout not only this track but a lot of other tracks. It definitely reminds me of classic sort of nostalgic video games, in my opinion. Really great opener. It definitely gives the listener an idea of how the music will sound going forward with the record. So I feel like, to me, again, if you like Fall of Troy, Dance Gavin Dance, Chon, you'll definitely be into this stuff. So we're going to move into track number 2, which is Baby I Invented the Disco. This was the first single that he released and is also one of my favorite as well. It has this groovy sort of bouncy as hell vibe to it. Again, very reminiscent of DGD to me, in my opinion. But I definitely think that there's a lot going on, not in a bad way, definitely in a good way. It's a lot of texturing, a lot of layering, which is awesome. Really liking this sort of tappy lead guitars in this track, and it definitely feels like a crossover to me between like Fall of Troy and Strawberry Girls, and a little bit of DGD sprinkled in there as well. The guitar work is super impressive to me, in my opinion, especially in this track, and a few others, which I'll mention a little bit later on. Really liking the bridge in this track as well. It has this cool sort of openness to it, and I definitely feel like it leads perfectly into the next track, track number 3, Biology, which is another favorite of mine. really liking the sort of descending guitar riff. I definitely, me personally, as a guitar player, I'm definitely getting inspired by this record. I know I cannot play this fast, so to me, it's kind of, I wouldn't even say it's an eye opener because I do listen to this stuff, but to me, it kind of gives me a different flavor and a different writing style. So to me, thanks Anthony, I appreciate the influence, but the drumming is also insane on this. Probably one of the more insane drumming tracks of this record. I definitely feel like, again, it combines elements of Dance Gavin Dance Fall of Troy. I feel like a broken record saying it, but it's really, really strong influences that you can tell in these tracks. I like that this track has a sort of a happy, fun vibe to it as well, and just the technicality again is just through the roof in my opinion. Again, really liking this sort of electronic influence as well in this track in particular, and liking this sort of breakdown between the 2 minutes and 25-second mark to the end of this track. So we're gonna move it into track number 4, which is Seasick Crocodile. This was the second single that he released on his Facebook as well. I would say that the tracks have been going in more of an aggressive nature, just in terms of heaviness and just grit to the tracks. And I definitely say that so far, this has been the most sort of aggressive track as of now. Definitely the technicality has been expounding over the tracks. I feel like the tracks get a little bit more, incredible and a little bit more technically prowess as the songs go on. I definitely appreciate that the songs are kind of a little bit insane in that way because to me, as somebody who listens to a lot of records, I feel like instrumental bands, while I do love them, at some points they become very, I don't know, they become very bland, and I definitely feel like with this album I don't get that feeling. It just, to me, at some points it's just like, man, I'd love some vocals here, or man, I'd love some melodic elements in here, or man, a lead line would be great. So um to me, that definitely kind of keeps that reservation at bay, which is always good. I feel like the drumming on this one is as incredible as well. I'm definitely liking the sort of faster paced tracks in particular, and I like that it kind of bleeds into the next track, which we'll be talking about in just a minute. So the next track on the list is track number 5, which is Straw Mountain. This one to me has a little bit of more of those darker undertones. To me, the intro and also I think in the bridge, I'm getting that sort of Chiodos old vibe as well as like all's well that ends well, or what Bone Palace ballet. In that regard, those sort of like eerie, sort of darker, sort of, I don't know what the word for it is. I can't think of it, but it definitely has this sorts of vibes to it. This track feels a little bit more reserved in the way it goes about. It feels a little bit like it has a little bit more space, a little bit more ambience to it as well. Again, I've been seeing the trend of sort of heavier tracks, and I feel like it's going to be playing into the next one, which I'll be talking about in a minute. And I'm really liking the layering in the intro as well as the bridge. I feel like that offers a little extra diversity to the track that I feel like is well needed. So we're gonna move into the last and final track, track number 6, which is the Fornication Under Consent of the King. Man, these names are not gonna get old, and I'm gonna be sad when I can't say weird names, song names for a while. But anyway, getting back to this one is definitely, without a doubt, my favorite track off the record. I definitely like how the cool piano carries over with the track. I like how that the last track, Straw Mountain, kind of bleeds into the 6 track Fornication, under the consent of the king, which is really awesome. And I just like how all the tracks kind of have that sort of underlying feeling where they carry into each other. I feel like that's just a solid songwriting skill and just song structure ability as well. Easily one of the heaviest tracks off this record. And it's definitely more akin to metalcore stuff, especially the end, which I'll talk about in a minute. The lead lines definitely soar over this rhythm guitar in this track in particular. The drums just have that right amount of flair to me. And there's this cool little break at around the minute 55-second mark with the synth, and I like how it also carries throughout sort of the rest of the track up until the last sort of 4 minute mark, which is really cool as well. And then just at 4 minutes and 20 seconds to like pretty much the end of the track, you're gonna get blown away by a freaking out of nowhere, heavy as hell breakdown. This like I'm just gonna tell you this. This track absolutely threw me for a loop at the end. I almost thought, and I told Anthony this in our interview, I totally thought that I switched tracks. Like I thought that the album was over after that, 4 minute mark, and I thought, oh, I'm on to the next track, on to the next album, whatever. But it was still the same track, which kind of blows my mind because that was brutal as all hell, out of nowhere. And my only expression that I could give about this track was holy shit. This track was just like I just don't even know. I like had to rethink life after this track. Easily the best track, like I said, off this record. I would highly recommend listening to this one. I wouldn't skip to it. I would definitely listen to it in succession. But man, you're in for a treat for this one. And I definitely feel like if I haven't already stated it, it's a great closer to this record. So my thoughts, my pros and cons about it, I really don't have any cons. I really think it's well constructed, maybe a little bit more polished in the production, but I understand the sonic landscape he was going for in this. I feel like if it was a little bit tighter, it would definitely might be up there with my favorites of this year. But it's really diverse. I'm gonna say this is probably one of the more diverse records. While I did mention a lot of the similar bands and a lot of the tracks, I feel like there is a lot of diversity amongst that. I feel like when I mentioned those three bands, it's kind of like a grand scheme of everything. I feel like for you to the listener to check out the rest of it, you can have your thoughts and opinions on it as well. But I feel like there's a great mix of heavy elements, more melodic post-hardcore elements, electronic elements. So I definitely feel like there's a lot for everybody. Also, the fact that there are no vocals as well. It's something that you can put on and it won't go crazy. So to me, I feel like this record is really diverse and just really interesting to listen to. So thank you, Anthony. Much love to you. So my overall rating for Fox Vibes Mantra, I'm going to be giving it a 9.2 out of 10. I highly recommend checking it out. Go pick it up on his Bandcamp. Go support this guy. I really think he makes some really awesome music. Really awesome instrumental music. I'm really excited to see what's next for him. And just his musical endeavors as well. And I know they're going to be doing a few live shows coming up in the next month. So check that out if you get the chance to. Make sure to go check them out on social media so you don't miss out on a thing. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this record. Again, I would recommend checking it out. I feel like to me, these instrumental bands have been coming up, and I'm really excited to see just the abilities and the skills of everybody. It's really awesome. I've already done two in like this month already, and we're only halfway through. So, maybe I'll get another one by the other time, but who knows? But yeah, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on it. And if you enjoy us a lot, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like this review as well. And then if you enjoy us a lot, make sure to pick up some merch. There's a link in the description if you'd like to grab something. If not, you're not going to hurt my feelings, but it does definitely help out for sure. So my name is Brandon. We hope you got your fix, and we'll be talking with you soon. Peace. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.